What's up, guys? My name's Cody. You're watching the Apex Automotive YouTube channel, and this is 5 reasons why a normal person shouldn't own a highly modified car. Number one on the list is just too much power, and that just goes without saying. My car, a highly modified car, assuming you go for horsepower more than handling or anything else, it's just way too much horsepower for a normal person. This car is a Turbo LS 6-speed manual car, and it for sure spins every gear on the street with street tires on it. As you see, I have street tires on the rear. And even with drag radials, it still spins first to fourth gear, no problem. I don't even try to do pulls in fifth and sixth gear really, unless I'm doing some sort of roll race or maybe a quarter mile. But yes, just too much power for a normal person to handle. And if you're not used to this car, or not this car, but a car breaking loose and counter steering it and keeping that sucker straight and not being a superhero and just staying in it to look cool, because you will lose your ride so fast it's not funny. Just don't be a hero, don't be Superman, don't try to show off, and you should be okay. Work up. Don't just start with some shit like this. Work up from a slower car to a faster car. You're going to crash. You're going to. Get that out of your head. It's gonna happen. You're gonna make mistakes. Don't make it on a car like this. Don't cost yourself tons of money. That sucks. Number 2 on the list for me is the welded differential in this car. I could have bought a better rear end that had a lockup in it and a spoil, but I didn't because I'm cheap. So I welded my diff. What does that mean to a person who doesn't, understand that? Well, when you make a turn, whether you go left or right, if you're turning left, the right tire spins more rotations than the inside tire would making a left turn. When you weld the differential, it makes both these wheels spin at the same time, no matter what. So what to expect when that's happening is you'll hear a cut, 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 and it's the inside wheel spinning the same rate as the outside wheel, even though it doesn't have to spin to make the car move. You're hearing that tire chirp over and spin with the same rotation as the other side. And another thing that can happen is going around turns, of course, that chirp, chirp, chirp. Well, it could cause the car to break loose or spin, or if you're gasking around the curve, it could break loose and you could wreck the car. But most people who weld the diff have a good understanding of this and understands the risk, and they mostly do it because they want to go slide the car. They want to do burnouts, and they want both the tires to spin. It is very dangerous if you're trying to go do donuts or you're trying to go learn how to drift or something and both wheels doesn't lock up. You don't know what the car is going to do. It can kick sideways or maybe it won't. You won't know. But with a welded diff, it 100% will always kick sideways if you try to make it. So that's another reason why a normal person should not own this car. Just another reason to wreck. Those things do not want to hook up because of the power, and the welded diff doesn't help, and also bad tires. The third thing on my list is probably for sure the maintenance. The maintenance on this car is kind of ridiculous, and that's probably my fault for the most part, because I'm pushing a lot of horsepower for the engine that's in the car, and it's just more horsepower, more problems. There's just no way around that. Everybody wants them big horsepower numbers, but we don't want them big horsepower problems. And I promise you, they come hand in hand. I don't care if you get the best stuff in the world, they still have problems. They still mess up. They still break down. You still have to work on them. And at a certain point, it doesn't matter. You have to work on it after every pass if you're a drag racer. Every single pass you have to go check the lash, the valves, check everything. Make sure your timing's right again. I mean, there's a bunch of crap. Maintenance is crazy. And if you're really cheap like me and you just go through junkyard 5.3s and 6.0s and shit like that, you're probably going to go through a bunch of these, especially if you really like being on your car. So maintenance, oil changes, fluids. I mean, this fluid is brand new and it's already dark. It's literally not even a month old. That's just how much I drive my car and how much abuse it gets when I'm driving it. It's meant to have fun, so that's what I do with it. And I've had the oil in it for probably 3-4 weeks now. It needs to be changed, and there's definitely not 2,000 miles on it, but it just gets hot over time with the temperature and more power, more heat, blah blah blah. So yeah, maintenance for sure sucks on these highly modified cars. People don't understand how much maintenance is involved with something like this. And the next thing on my list doesn't even particularly have anything to do with the car. It's my own personal choice, but you cannot travel long distances without planning ahead. What does that mean? Well, this car is on E85. If you make a lot of power on a car, more than likely you're either on E85 or you're on some sort of race fuel. And E85 is like the cheapest race fuel, and it's not even race fuel, it's just better fuel for detonation and making power. But yeah, I mean, if you don't know what E85 is, it's just a different type of fuel that just makes better power, and it will use about 30% more fuel than 91 or 87 pump gas at the gas station. So if you get 300 miles to your tank with a full tank of 87 or 93 or 91, then you will get 200 miles out of a full tank of E85. Now, that's not crazy bad, except for the fact that there is no gas stations in my local area that just keeps E on lock. There's some that's like 30 minutes to an hour away, but that's no bueno. That's not good. Just terrible. So driving long distance, you pretty much have to trailer the car, or you need to bring fuel with you, and you cannot carry that with you in this car. So driving long distances really sucks with the car. That's one reason why no one as a normal person should own some shit like this. And the last thing on my 5 reasons why a normal person should not own this car is the amount of time you should really spend watching the gauges is insane. I mean, when you're cruising, when you're doing a pull, anytime at all, you need to be watching the gauges. You're constantly watching the temperature head, make sure you're not overheating. Because when you do pulls, it doesn't take long for something to start overheating when it makes more power. The wideband down there, that has the air fuel ratio for the fuel system. So if that number goes higher, that's bad. So if it goes too high, you need to let out and assess the situation and figure out what's wrong with your car before you blow it up. And also, if it goes too low, that means it's running too rich. There's probably something wrong. You need to figure out what's going on with that, because that's a problem. And it's hard to watch these gauges. And you need to watch oil pressure, voltage, literally everything. You have to watch everything, because if you don't, the oil pressure goes down and you don't see it, the engine's gone. That thing overheats, you don't see it, you could blow a head gasket. There's all types of stuff that could happen. You watch that go lean or rich, tons of stuff, bad things could happen. So as a normal person, and you don't think to watch these gauges that much. And in these newer cars, messages will pop up saying, need to change your oil, coolant pressure low, or whatever it may be. This car doesn't give you no warnings. You have to watch for it. And if you don't catch it, it's going to be too late, and it's going to cost you a lot of money. So if you do look into getting a highly modified car, just be prepared and spending a lot more effort, time, and money keeping it going and keeping it safe, and enjoy it. It's a car like this isn't a car that you would really want to go out every single day and beat the crap out of it, because one, tires aren't cheap, and this thing spins tires like crazy. Oil's not cheap, trans fluid's not cheap, any fluids aren't cheap, engines aren't cheap. Not only that, it probably takes me 10 to 15 hours to pull this motor out and put one back in it. And it's a lot of work, it's a lot of time, and I've went through multiple engines already, so you have to be dedicated to learn something like this. But it's so worth it in the end, because this thing just breaks necks, gets attention, and so many people are so nice and cool and, you know, give me compliments, and I love it. It makes me feel like a good person, makes me feel like my last 6 years of building this car was worth it. Because I built it for me, but it's really nice seeing other people get to enjoy it as much as me, even though they're just looking at it and they've watched me go down the track. But that's just awesome. I love it. It makes me feel really good about myself, really proud of myself for what I've done, and hopefully it can motivate others to do the same thing. I've been trying to get my friends to LS swap all their cars. We'll see how that goes, but for now, that's it for the video. Thank you. Like and subscribe for more content like this. And I know it's sort of winter, it's getting close to winter time and season's kind of out, but for the season we're going to keep going, and we're going to keep modding the car. We've also got my buddy's fully built Super WRX, and then we have a turbo Civic right up here on that side of the door. that we also plan on beating the crap out of. So once again, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe for more content, and y'all have a great day. Thank you.